In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Bitcoin and the Coinbase chart just because I see some similarities to the recent price action. And in previous videos and previous charts I posted on X, we can see that this previous resistance zone, this orange line going across all the way, was resistance, and now it's looking like it's trying to flip to support. But there is some similarities to it. So we can see that right here, price came back down to test it as support and went higher. And here, price went up to test it as resistance and went lower, right? And now what we can really see is on this part right here could be similar to this part right here, where it did go above the resistance line for some weeks. And so the possibility of this support not holding and going below for a few weeks is possible. So let's just see what kind of percentage that is from the line to the top. It's about maybe 12%, right? So if we went 12% down from here, it would be what price? 12%. It would be roughly about 53,700, maybe somewhere around there, right? So when we look at GAN, is there anything that lines up with the GAN chart uh, to match this 53,000? No, there is not, right? But if we put on the Fibonacci extension or Fibonacci retracement tool, we can see clearly what sits at 53,000 from the high back in 2021 to the low down here in 2022. We can see that 53,500-ish, maybe just rounded down to 53,000 because price loves to wick through, right? We can see the 7-1 fib is that support level. So if we do the same thing where this was a resistance and then it wicked above resistance, if it does the same thing and goes down 12% with the market symmetry, we can see that it could be like an A, B, C correction before price continues higher again, right? So everything is lining up perfectly for this to happen so far, but we need to see where this week closes. So currently it's closing, it's below this orange line, and it has not closed below that orange line in a long time now, or ever really. Since it broke out, it never closed below, except a possibility that it closes below now. So if it does close below, I can expect this scenario to play out, and if that does happen, then probably 53,000 would get hit, and possibly even a wick below, maybe down to the 618 or this orange angle once again. So as like a liquidation event. So we need to be cautious of this, and we need to pay attention to this weekly candle close coming on Sunday, okay? But now let's go check out the Coinbase chart to see more similarities to this Bitcoin chart. So now with Coinbase here, we can see clearly how it is losing this 45-degree angle right here as support. And it's still currently battling, trying to get above, and it still looks like it's making its way lower, right? Now we just noticed maybe a possible ABC correction on Bitcoin, and this formation is looking quite similar. It could be an A, a B, and a C leg, but how far can that C leg go for Bitcoin for Coinbase if Bitcoin breaks down further? So let's pull up Fibonacci from this high up here to the low down here. And we can see clearly right now that the 50% Fibonacci was in fact rejected. It's been rejected now for 2 weeks in a row, right? It tried to break above, but it failed mainly because of the resistance of this 45-degree angle. And once we saw that, it's rolling over. So if Bitcoin does close below that orange line I showed you, then Coinbase will most likely follow suit and probably go back down to 183 or possibly a wick below into the high 170s, right? So this is the target for Coinbase and the target for Bitcoin if Bitcoin loses that level. Now, the bullish scenario could be that this level does hold and it just makes a higher low from here. But this is all dependent on Bitcoin. It must hold 61,300 on this weekly close because, let's go back to that chart, because this orange line, a weekly candle has never closed below, right? Never before, after it broke out above. So essentially, if it does close below, this is not bullish anymore for the short term. It's not bullish for the short term, but still long term is very bullish, right? For the short term, it's going to go lower. It's going to be an ABC. And this is the minimum target, 53,000, possibly a maximum target of 48,000 down here, or even like a wick down below to the orange angle, right? So this is imperative to watch this weekly close and the future weekly closes to make sure that we still close weekly candles above this level. Because as we saw here, once it closed the weekly candle above here, it went further and further, right? And so if once it closed the weekly candle below, it could drop another 12% or more, right? So we need to be careful of this. And if Bitcoin drops, then that means Coinbase is going to drop. And so my target buys, if this loses, my target buys would be in the low 50,000s for Bitcoin and in the low 180s, high 170s for Coinbase. So stay tuned. Let's see how the week closes for both of these charts.